The accident happened on a Tuesday. I remember because I was rushing to get to my evening business class, trying to juggle full-time work and part-time studies. One moment I was crossing the street, the next I was waking up in the hospital with both legs shattered and my life forever changed. Miss Sullivan, a nurse's voice penetrated the fog of pain medications. Your parents are here. I turned my head, wincing at the movement, to see my mother and father standing in the doorway. Mom's face was tight with worry, but not for me, for their bank account. Dad wouldn't even look at me, his eyes fixed on the medical charts at the foot of my bed. How much is this going to cost? Those were his first words. Not how are you, Sarah? Or thank God you're alive. Just cold calculations. The doctor explained the extent of my injuries. Multiple fractures in both legs. Months of rehabilitation ahead. Physical therapy. Specialized equipment. The list went on, and with each item, I watched my father's face grow darker. We can't afford this, he said finally, turning to me. The business is already struggling. Your brother's college tuition is due next month. Ah yes, my brother Michael. The golden child. The one destined to take over Sullivan Manufacturing, our family's company. The one whose education couldn't possibly be compromised. But I tried to speak, my throat dry. My insurance. Your basic insurance won't cover most of this, Mom cut in. And we can't put this burden on the family. Not now. I stared at them, unable to believe what I was hearing. I'm your daughter. And Michael is our son, Dad snapped. The future of our company. We can't risk everything we've built. You're 24, Sarah. Old enough to handle this yourself. 2 days later, they stopped answering my calls. A week after that, I received a text from Mom. We've packed your things. Your apartment lease is paid through the month. We're sorry, but you need to figure this out on your own. Just like that, I was on my own. No family, no home, and medical bills piling up faster than I could count them. The only person who stood by me was my Aunt Claire, Mom's younger sister, who'd always been the black sheep of the family for choosing art over business. Move in with me, she said, visiting me in the hospital. I have plenty of space in my apartment above the gallery. I looked at her through tears. I can't ask you to take this on. You're not asking, I'm offering. She squeezed my hand. Besides, I could use help managing the gallery's accounts once you're back on your feet. That business degree of yours shouldn't go to waste. And so began my new life. The rehabilitation was brutal. Every step was agony. Every small victory shadowed by setbacks. But Aunt Claire never wavered. She drove me to physical therapy, helped me adapt to crutches, then a cane, and finally, painstakingly, to walking on my own again. During those long months of recovery, I threw myself into learning everything about the art world. Gallery operations, artist relationships, market trends, I absorbed it all. My business background combined with Claire's artistic expertise proved to be a powerful combination. You have an eye for this, Claire said one evening as I pored over auction catalogs. You see both the art and the opportunity. She was right. Where others saw just beautiful paintings, I saw investment potential. When others focused on famous names, I spotted emerging talents with growing market value. Slowly, I started building connections in the art world, using my business acumen to help Claire's gallery thrive. A year after the accident, I launched our online platform, expanding the gallery's reach beyond our local market. 6 months later, we were handling private collections for some of the city's wealthiest families. The gallery transformed from a modest local venue to a respected name in the art world. Through it all, I heard nothing from my family. Michael graduated with honors, took his place at Sullivan Manufacturing, and got engaged to the daughter of another business family. I learned all this through social media, watching from a distance as life went on without me. Then came the day that changed everything again. I was in my office above the gallery, reviewing potential acquisitions for an upcoming show, when my phone buzzed with an unfamiliar number. Sarah Sullivan. A crisp professional voice asked. This is James Morton from Morton & Associates. I'm calling regarding Sullivan Manufacturing. I sat up straighter. I haven't been involved with Sullivan Manufacturing for years. Nevertheless, this matter concerns you directly. He paused. Are you aware that your grandfather's original company charter included a unique provision? No, I said slowly. I wasn't given access to any company documents. Well, it seems your father wasn't aware either. Until now. Another pause. The charter stipulates that any sale or merger of the company requires unanimous consent from all living direct descendants of the founder. That includes you, Miss Sullivan. I gripped my phone tighter. What exactly are you saying? Sullivan Manufacturing is in negotiations for a $50 million buyout. The deal cannot proceed without your signature. Your father asked me to contact you about signing over your voting rights. I closed my eyes, memories flooding back. The hospital room. The coldness in Dad's voice. The text message from Mom. Years of silence. Miss Sullivan. Are you there? Yes, I said, opening my eyes. Please tell my father I'll need to review all the relevant documents before making any decisions. He can send them to my office at Claire Sullivan Gallery. Hi, of course. Though I believe your father hoped to resolve this quickly. I'm sure he did. I smiled, though the lawyer couldn't see it. But I've learned a lot about contracts and fine print over the past few years. I'll need time to review everything thoroughly. After hanging up, I sat back in my chair, looking out over the gallery below. The space was filled with paintings and sculptures worth millions. Pieces I had helped acquire and sell. I'd built something here, something valuable, without my family's help or approval. My phone buzzed again. This time it was a number I hadn't seen in 5 years. Dad. I let it ring. The next morning, a courier delivered a thick envelope of documents to the gallery. Inside was the merger agreement, along with a letter requesting my prompt attention to this urgent matter and a pre-signed release of voting rights. They even helpfully marked all the places where I needed to sign with little yellow tabs. Aunt Claire watched me spread the papers across my desk. Well, this is quite the twist of fate. Grandfather always was thorough, I said, scanning the original charter. I wonder if Dad ever actually read it completely. Knowing your father, he probably thought he knew everything he needed to know. Claire sighed, just like he thought he knew what was best for everyone else. I spent the next 3 days reviewing every detail of the merger. Sullivan Manufacturing, it turned out, was being sold to Global Tech Industries, a larger competitor. The reason for the urgency became clear. Global Tech's offer had a deadline. If the deal didn't close within 2 weeks, they'd walk away. My father called 6 more times. I let each call go to voicemail. His messages grew increasingly agitated. Sarah, be reasonable. This deal is crucial for the company's future. Your brother has worked hard to make this happen. Don't let personal feelings interfere with business. On the 4th day, my mother appeared at the gallery. We're closed for a private event, our receptionist told her. I'm here to see my daughter, Mom said, loud enough for her voice to carry upstairs. I walked to the railing and looked down at her. She seemed smaller somehow, less intimidating than I remembered. Her designer outfit and perfectly styled hair couldn't hide the worry lines around her eyes. Sarah, she called up, we need to talk. I nodded to the receptionist. It's okay, Lisa. She can come up. Mom's heels clicked on the stairs. She paused in my office doorway, taking in the space, the elegant furniture, the valuable artwork, the view of the gallery below. This is impressive, she said finally. Did you think I was living in poverty? I gestured to a chair. Please sit. She perched on the edge of the seat, clutching her handbag like a shield. Your father sent me. I assumed as much. I sat behind my desk. He's never been good at handling his own mistakes. Sarah, please. This merger is everything we've worked for. The company's future depends on it. The company's future, I repeated. You mean Michael's future? She flinched. That's not fair. Your brother has dedicated himself to the business, and I dedicated myself to recovering from near-fatal injuries. Alone. I kept my voice level. How is Michael, by the way? Still engaged to the venture capitalist's daughter. The wedding is in June, she paused. You could come. I laughed, though there was no humor in it. 5 years of silence, and now I'm suddenly invited to family events. How convenient. We made mistakes, she admitted. But this merger is bigger than our family issues. Global Tech's offer is extremely generous. Yes, I've reviewed the terms. I pulled out the documents. $50 million. Plus executive positions for Dad and Michael in the new company structure. Very generous indeed. Then you understand why. Why you need my signature? I cut her off. Yes, I understand completely. What I don't understand is why I should help the people who abandoned me when I needed them most. Tears welled in her eyes. We thought we were doing the right thing. The business was struggling. Michael's education. Stop. I held up my hand. I don't want to hear about Michael's education again. You chose him over me. That's fine. But now you have to live with the consequences of that choice. What do you want? She asked quietly. Money? A position in the company? I stood up and walked to the window, looking down at the bustling gallery below. You really don't get it, do you? I built something here. Something valuable. Something mine. I don't need your money or your company. Then why won't you sign? I turned back to her. Because for the first time you need me, and I want you to understand exactly how that feels. The next day, my father and Michael showed up together. They didn't bother with the receptionist, charging straight up the stairs to my office. This has gone on long enough, Dad thundered. Sign the papers. I looked up calmly from my computer. Hello, Father. Michael, nice of you to finally visit. Michael stepped forward, every inch the polished executive in his tailored suit. Sarah, you're being childish. This merger is worth $50 million. I know exactly what it's worth. I smiled. I also know Global Tech's deadline is in 9 days, and I know their CEO, Marcus Chen, has a reputation for walking away from deals at the slightest complication. Dad's face reddened. You're threatening to destroy everything we've built. No, I corrected him. I'm exercising my legal right as a descendant of the founder. The same founder whose signature is on my grandfather's charter. The one you apparently never read carefully enough. Name your price, Michael snapped. Everyone has one. I stood up slowly, leaning slightly on my desk. My legs still ached sometimes, a permanent reminder of that Tuesday evening 5 years ago. You want to talk price? I opened my drawer and pulled out a file. Here's my counteroffer. Dad snatched the paper, his eyes scanning quickly. His face went pale. This is insane, he sputtered. 20% of the merger value, a seat on the board of the new company, and a formal acknowledgement of what happened 5 years ago, I added. A public one. Michael grabbed the paper from Dad. $10 million? You must be joking. Do I look like I'm joking? I gestured around my office. I built this gallery into one of the most successful art dealerships in the city. I understand value, leverage, and negotiation. But more importantly, I understand family, or rather what family shouldn't be. We can't possibly, Dad began. You can, and you will. I sat back down. Otherwise, I'll let the Global Tech deadline expire. I wonder how Marcus Chen will react when he learns why the deal failed. A week later, I sat in a Global Tech conference room, watching my father read a prepared statement to the assembled board members and press. 5 years ago, our family made a terrible mistake, he read, his voice tight. We abandoned our daughter Sarah when she needed us most. Today, as we embark on this new chapter for Sullivan Manufacturing, we acknowledge that error and welcome her as an equal partner in our future endeavors. I signed the merger documents immediately after. $10 million was deposited into my account the same day. But the money wasn't what mattered. It was watching my father finally admit his mistake in front of everyone who mattered in his world. That evening, I returned to the gallery. Aunt Claire was waiting with a bottle of champagne. To karma, she said, handing me a glass. To second chances, I corrected her. Some we give others, some we give ourselves. I looked around at the gallery, my gallery. Tomorrow, I'd be attending my first board meeting as one of Global Tech's directors. But this was still my true success story. My phone buzzed. A text from Mom. Can we have dinner sometime? Just us? I stared at the message for a long moment before replying. Not yet. But maybe someday. 5 years ago, they'd thrown me away when I was broken, assuming I'd never amount to anything. Now I was stronger than ever, and they needed my signature to save their legacy. Sometimes karma works in unexpected ways. And sometimes, the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about rising so far above those who hurt you that they have to crane their necks just to see how far you've come.